Anybody can go as okay, I can add to what I was saying. Primarily, we've been learning how even anybody can go as sorry about that. We've been learning how we can access some of these funds that we hear of, like from the World Bank and things to do with livestock. I remember a very great lesson we learned from our Reverend Daniel about the cattle. We've had a bit of goats, sheep, or livestock. Do how what we can have. So uh, we are learning that some of these things look far, but we can be able to achieve them or get them even though they are far.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeremiah. That's very, very helpful. I think what we've been trying to do and what Jeremiah is trying to say, we've been trying to demystify. The word is demystify. When you hear the World Bank program, you know that you don't have a World Bank branch anywhere near you, and it makes you think that this is difficult, it's strange, it's impossible, it's inaccessible. But what I've been trying to teach in these classes is that there's nothing that is too far, there's nothing that is too hard, and there's nothing that is inaccessible. So I think that has been my emphasis in the last few weeks, and the illustrations that I give, they help us to understand that, but they also help us to apply. You know, you can understand, but when it comes to application, you don't know how to apply the knowledge that you have. So in sustainable wealth creation, we are not just limiting ourselves to how to create the wealth, which is normally you'd say the how-tos, but we are also opening ourselves to the opportunities that are made accessible in the society. So you go from the how-to to the what can I say, to the philosophy, understanding why is it, why are we doing it, why is it important to create wealth, and then you go out of that scope and you start appreciating that what you do is important, but it's not everything. So I think that's good. I just want to ask one more person, Annette. By the way, Annette, we've been meaning to talk for a long time and we've not gotten a... No, I can't go far before I ask Grace Chege. So Annette, I'll create time, and Hannah. These are the two people that are waiting for my call for a long time. I can see Hannah is in and Annette is in. I'll create time on Friday afternoon to talk to both of you because I've tried so hard, but I've not been successful. So, Grace Chege, you are in the veterinary science. We've talked a lot about livestock, and recently we talked about dairy farming. Can you just take 2 or 3 minutes and take us through that, what it is that you experienced in your life as an expert, and what is it that you'd see the combination of livestock, dairy farming, and wealth creation? Grace Chege.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, when you're doing livestock or dairy farming specifically, we connect it with wealth creation because it's actually a business where you rear the animals or the cattle for milk production, where you are able to sell your milk and get income. In that way, you create wealth. But before you do that, you need to know how to get that milk from the animal. That's where you have to learn about the care, the feeding, the disease control. Those are the issues that will help you get the milk and get the wealth.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you very much, Madam Grace. You've given very fundamental points. You've talked about caring, which is something that many people ignore. They want to get as much resources as they can, but they want to put very little input. They actually don't want to put any input. So I want to summarize this subject today about wealth creation through daily farming in Kenya through the World Bank supported funding. So I started with that, then I've brought people like Daniel and I've got people in the team to make comments, and I conclude with the same topic. So for Kenyans to create wealth for daily farmers through World Bank supported funding, you require a value chain approach. So what I'm teaching about daily farming is not a new theory. I'm not teaching people something innovative. I'm not saying I've come up with a cracker, with an idea that you don't know. But what I want to demonstrate is the value chain approach. So moving farmers from low productivity, because as we used to have a cow called Kanini. Kanini used to produce less than 1 liter of milk in the morning and less than 1 liter of milk in the evening. And we had to pay somebody 30 days a day, 30 days a month to take care of this cow. We had to feed it. We had to buy dairy meal, but the milk was just 1 liter in the morning and 1 liter in the evening. A good cow could give you up to 40 liters a day. That is 20 liters in the morning and 20 liters in the evening. So how do you move from low productivity, subsistence daily farming, into a commercial daily enterprise, covering production, animal care, as my sister has said, breeding, value addition, and market access? Because you have to look end to end. Many people just hear this market for milk and they buy a cow and they start taking care of the cow. There's money in beef. They buy a cow and they start feeding the cow, but they don't want to educate themselves through the process. And this is across everything, whether it's ministry, whether it's tailoring business, fashion and design, whether it's hair, barbershop, whatever you do, you have to look at the whole spectrum from the beginning to the end. I was talking to a friend and I said, I don't know what I told him about January and what he said. Oh, Lucas, me, I don't have the capacity to think that far. Thinking about January 2027 for them is very far. I did not want to show off, but I have a little plan up to 2063. A written plan. In 1993, I wrote a plan that goes to 2063. How many years are those? Anybody has an idea? Just do a quick maths. 1993 to 2063. Yeah?
About 60 years.
No, somebody else? Or try again. Anybody wants to try quickly?
70.
Exactly. Those are 70 years. And how old was I in 1993? Anybody has an idea? I was 25. In 2063, I'll be 95 years. But I sat down in 1993, the month was August, and I just put my desires and my hope and my prayer of what I would like to have achieved and who I'd like to be and where I would like to have gone through. So the first 30 years ended in 2023, and I was so thrilled. I can give you what I wrote when I finished the first 30 years. I'm now in the second 30 years, from 2023 to 2053. And then after that, I'll go to the 10 years. That gets me to 2063. What am I trying to say? There's nothing wrong with that. David said, Lord, help me to number my days, that I may live with a heart of wisdom. When you do that, you are able to see there's much that you can achieve. When you live by the day, there's no commitment, there's no engagement, there's no serious dedication, there's no serious pursuit of things, because you are like that man. There's a program we used to have when I was growing up in the 70s. It was called Pondamali. Pondamali used to say, kula leo, kufa kwaja. Eat as much as you can, you're going to die anyway. The death is coming. That's a long mentality. That's a long perspective. Any project, anything you engage with whatever you engage with a mind of longevity. You engage knowing that you are here because it's God who has brought you here. God has brought you here for a purpose, and God will keep you through as long as He wants. Are we together?
Yes.
Are we together?
Yes,
So God has a plan, a long-term plan for you. Value chains work because people don't feel restrained. People don't feel restricted. People don't feel that the time is too short. They know that God has put eternity in the hearts of men. So you don't need to go anywhere for eternity. Anyway, let me teach very quickly because today's lesson is a big one and I only have half an hour to go. A strong concept can be structured as a daily wealth creation program. I've discussed this with some of my executive, and we are putting 4 of these daily wealth creation program. One will be in Nakuru, one will be in Nairobi, that is in a place near Machakos in Kamuru. The other one is going to be in Laikipia in a place called Rumuruti. And the last one at the moment is going to be in a Thai center in Malindi. Thai center belongs to us, and Nakuru project also, where it's going to be, belongs to one of our directors. So we've come up with a program that's going to help. We want to align our program with World Bank priorities such as climate smart agriculture, rural livelihoods, food security, micro, small, and medium enterprises development, youth employability, and agricultural commercialization. I want you to get that because I want you to challenge me this time next year and tell me, Prof, you said we are going to do 4 programs in the country. They are going to be aligned with the World Bank priorities. They are going to look at climate smart agriculture. So Reverend Daniel told you the other day, in that program, number 1, we are going to have the actual feed production. Number 2, we'll have a breeding program. Number 3, we'll have a dairy, so that's the production of milk program. And then we'll have the value addition. So the milk will be converted into yogurt. It will be converted to chocolate, to ice cream. It will be converted to ghee. It will be converted to butter. It will be converted to UHT. It will be converted to what do you call it? Long life. That's UHT. And Mara. That's what you drink all the time. So that's just milk. Then we're going to utilize the cow dung. We're going to utilize the urine of the cow. We're going to utilize the gas that comes out of the dung, and we're going to harvest the gas. It's called biogas. We're going to harvest our own fertilizer out of that, and there's quite a number of things. I don't want to repeat what Reverend Daniel taught. We have our own land, so we're going to use our land to produce animal feed. So you can either invest in animals, animal breeding, animal feeds, animal management, value addition of milk that turns milk into butter, into yogurt, into Mara, into all those products. You can then be involved in setting a milk parlor. That is where you can sell, we are selling milk, so you become an aggregator and picking all our milk and selling in the parlor and selling our products. You can become an agent of our manure, our pallets. You can become an agent of our gas. That is gas that comes from the biogas that comes from the animals. So those things, I have a team working in that, and I want you to challenge me in June, end of June 2027. I'll take you on a tour. Those will be in the livestock club, and you will go and see people making clean, serious wealth. So Daily Wealth Creation Program, this is our vision, to transform smallholder dairy farmers into profitable daily entrepreneurs through improved genetics, modern production system, cooperative aggregation, processing, and access to reliable markets. Why are we doing this? Because I don't just do things for the sake of doing them. There has to be a reason. Otherwise, why would I need to come all the way from Scotland to Kenya to make money? No, there's more money here in Scotland than there's money in Kenya. So some people don't get it right. I set my priorities right. My purpose on earth is to create wealth for people. Number 2, to make people happy. And number 3, to have fun. I want to have fun in life. I want to have fun when I come to your place and I get a nice milk, a cup of milk, and I sit there and enjoy with you, and I know that this is an impact, is a life being changed, life being transformed. I don't have a political agenda. I don't have any other agenda. My agenda is simple and clear. Make wealth for the people, make the people happy, and have fun in doing that. So the problem is to reduce the challenge of, sorry, excuse me, my phone is misbehaving here. That's right. Yeah, number 1 is to reduce the challenge of low milk production per cow due to poor genetics. Number 2 is to reduce the cost of feeds and inadequate pasture management. So that's high feed cost and inadequate pasture management. Number 3, limited access to quality breeding services. Number 4, poor animal health management. Number 5, lack of cooling and aggregation infrastructure. Number 6, low bargaining power in markets. Number 7, selling low milk with limited value addition. Number 8, limited access to affordable financing. So that's what sustainable wealth creation will be addressing. So our responsibility or the opportunity we have is to create a farmer-owned dairy ecosystem. So the club that we form in this World Sustainable Group, it will be a club of people who are either directly involved or people who are just funding. In whichever way you come into this program, there are multiple ways of you benefiting. So you may not be interested in the actual farming activities, and that's fine, because what you do is to either get money, invest, and benefit from the overall program. Or if you're not putting in money, you can put in your physical energy, or you could just have ancestral land that is staying waste. You just make the land available and gives you shares in the company or shares in the cooperative, so that your shares are not just necessarily based on the money that you put in. Your shares are also based on the time, on the energy, and everything else that you can put in the program. So what are our components? The component number 1 is dairy production enhancement. Reverend Daniel was able to take you through that, but it's something that we work through day by day, how we are going to enhance production. Number 1 is improved dairy genetics and breeding. Nowadays, you don't have to do a lot of work. You can go to places like Kabete and buy insemination, or what we call artificial insemination, and come with a very high quality breed and just put it on your livestock. And that livestock will carry it for 9 months, and you start now to have a hybrid. Within 5 or 6 times of the process, you are able to achieve the results. I'll post a bit. I see my brother is calling me consistently. So I'll want people to discuss what I've talked about. Jeremiah, can you read that in a few minutes? Jeremiah.
Yes, Professor.
Okay, I'll mute for a minute and then I'll come back to you.
Okay. As we wait for Professor to come back, So, how many of us here are or have can identify with a club? Uh, a club is basically like a group within this program, and it is geared to bring you what I can call more advantages, more opportunities. We can steer the groups into the clubs into either livestock, what professor is telling us about the livestock. So if you are already in a club, you will be entitled to more opportunities like what we are calling, where we can take like a land, have the cattle or the animals, then we can be able to have that chain, the chain of production, where we have the feeds, the animals themselves, value addition from things like milk, and value addition or value getting value from the waste, that is the cow dung. Mainly what we have on the table are areas concerning livestock and a little bit of the women and a little bit of the youth. So forming a club does not cap you or cut you out, even for the if it does not say that I'm not in this group, so I cannot form a club. No, it means that you can take that chance, and maybe, like, on a lighter note, there is a time professor was saying that the women can form a group and they can put a few of us men there so that we can manage that group. So that is on a very interesting note, but it can be into a reality. I can see, Judy, you've posted something. Tell us a little bit more about it. For that question about the women program, since I can see that Professor is ready to come back, maybe he can answer you. I can read out the question again. It says, Judy is asking, sorry, tell us a little bit more about women program. So maybe, Professor, as you were saying, giving the more direct approach to what's the animal, you can also answer that question about the women program. Thank you very much.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you very much, Jeremiah, for standing in. I was just being notified that my father was rushed to the hospital. I knew that that call was not just an ordinary call. Excellent. I think there's an echo. Okay, maybe if everybody can mute. Good. Okay, then. So I'll answer that question, but allow me not to lose my point. Jeremiah reminded me that answer the question towards the end. But I must say, we don't join the women so that we can manage them. We join women so that we can benefit from their efficiency. So let me just continue teaching about this particular aspect. I mean, component 2, which is animal care and productivity improvement. So this is like a daily farmer's package that will be designed, and having people like Madam Grace Chege and others who are in livestock, it helps. So no, I think I've skipped. Component 1, which I was talking about when I was interrupted, is daily production enhancement. And I was talking about improving the daily genetics, so artificial insemination, introduction of high-performing breeds like Fresian, Ayrshire, Jersey, Guernsey, and crossbreeds suitable for Kenyan condition. Farmer training on breeding decisions and digital animal identification and records expected. At the moment, as we talk, All the Kenyan animals are being given an ID. An ID of a livestock is taken from the mouth of the livestock. Every cow globally has its own uniqueness on its own mouth. So a digital image of the mouth is taken. And that helps you now to track that animal, to track its kids, to track its product, its milk, its meat. And if somebody was to scan globally particular product, they're able to see. So these are modern technology and digital records that also improves the quality of what you do. So increased milk production, for instance, a traditional cow will give you 3 to 5 liters a day. I was talking about 1 liter, so these have really improved since our Kanini died. So improved daily cow will give you 15 to 25 liters a day. I think I have better records because just now my brother is doing this project. I think we are working with about 40 liters a day. A farmer with 5 improved cows could move from approximately 337,500, which is 5 cows times 5 liters times 45 shillings times 300 days. Now remember, this is so minimal, and that could improve to 5 cows times 20 liters times 45 times 300, which is 1,350,000 a year. Now, I can assure you, if I'm the one who is doing 5 cows, I could get 3 or 4 times that amount. And I'm not going to go into details just now. The second component is care and productivity improvement. Now, many farmers don't put care as part of their budget. They don't put care as part of their responsibility. But let me tell you, livestock that has no vaccination program, veterinary outreach, disease surveillance, mastitis control, and parasite management, they are bound to get into serious trouble because anything can happen anytime. And you will not know whether the problems your livestock is experiencing is because of lack of vaccination or an outbreak or lack of disease surveillance. So I'm just going quickly because not all of you are farmers, but I'm just trying to show you, if you're into that club, some of the things that need to be taken care of. So there's the feeding systems that is supporting farmers with Napier grass. I said people who are free land, they can do that. Maize silage, I can again take us through that. It's an amazing aspect of livestock farming, hay production, feed formulation, mineral supplementation. Now, these are independent aspect of livestock or dairy farming. So sometimes somebody says, I'm in farming, but they cannot zero down what it is that they specialize in or which are the areas that they need to have clear understanding. So the introduction of daily feed innovation centers would be part of sustainable wealth creation. So we just start with 4 centers, as I was saying, 1 in Nakuru, 1 near Nairobi in the Machakos, the Machakos neighboring Nairobi in the Ruai Kamuru area, 1 in Laikipia near Rimruti, and 1 in Malindi. So these innovation centers are areas where farmers would learn to produce affordable feeds, climate smart daily practices, which align with World Bank climate goals, which is biogas from manure. I talked about that area. Water harvesting, so that your livestock is not taking contaminated water. You're able to harvest clean rainwater. Solar powered milking systems, so you're not spending endless amount of money on your milk mechanization program. Improved waste management, you're not just wasting your money, you're not just wasting your manure and everything. We say waste is money or waste is wealth. So you're using waste to create wealth. And methane reduction. So you're reducing the methane, but you're creating a product that can be used for domestic use. Component number 3 is the component of dairy farmer financing model. So dairy enterprise development fund. So funding can support farmer loans grants. So this is a World Bank fund. So it's not money that you are being given by an individual. So how does it work? Somebody asked that, and I would now take you through. So the farmer loans grants are for purchase of improved cows, milking equipment, cooling tanks, feed production, small processing units. Example, a farmer receiving finances would receive improved cows, one at 180. So if you get 5, that's a grant of about 5 times 180, that's 900,000. Cowshed, the cost at the moment is about 50,000, an improvement of what you have, or if you're doing something new, go up to 150. Feed support, so just giving you, instead of the 50,000 going to buy animal feed, you get a piece of land, maybe for 1,000 a year, and then you prepare the land, you plant Napier grass, you harvest like 3 times, so you could be planting maize, but you don't wait for the maize to get to the harvest season. You cut it early, create silage, make storage so that your animal feed cost is reduced substantially. And then training and veterinary. Now, many people escape that. Let me tell you, if you have no knowledge, you perish. That's the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So you need somebody to give you knowledge about your cow, but also give you knowledge on how to manage it. That's what we call training and veterinary services. So a typical finance, which is available just now, is about 300,000. I have so many areas where people can get this kind of money. And then repayment is supported through milk income. So we offtake all your milk so that the loan that you took is paid back by the milk income. I can demonstrate that one cow of 180,000, we just bought one this week in my family. We've started a family dairy farm in Nakuru. I think we have about 4. So the last one we bought this week was 180,000. So 180,000, I'll just check now as we talk. My brother is telling us, I think he's giving us about 30 liters. I'll confirm that. He's selling 70 because we have our own domestic milk parlor in Nakuru. And of course, for us, we don't let the cow not milk on Sunday. I saw here they are counting 300. For us, it's 365 days. That's one cow. 30 liters a day, 70 shillings a liter, 365 days. Anybody who wants to know how much is that? Anybody with an appetite for money, for wealth? Hana, natoka huko kwetu Kiambu. Watu wanasema watu wa Kiambu wanapenda pesa, lakini hata wale wapendi pesa wakipewa nao wanachukua haraka sana. Anybody else?
Seen an emoji from Emali.
Yeah?
I have seen an emoji from Emali.
You have seen what? Emali? Emali atu walikuwa wamesema huko kwenyu nyinyi hamtaki pesa sana.
Tunakunywa maziwa mengi, so lazima pesa ingie.
So the cow that we bought ourselves in the family is likely to give a minimum of 6 million a year. That is all factors being equal. Our project at home, we are planning to do 40. That's our own domestic project with my brothers and sisters. We are planning to do 40. We are producing our own animal feed. Of course, we will work with veterinary officers and all that to do that. But I'm saying this is a very simple and practical project that can create wealth. You don't need to be there. You just go to most of the data training school. There's one in Naivasha. You employ a young graduate, pay them a minimum wage of about 50,000 a month, and then they have the veterinary skills. They are passionate, they are young, they are vibrant. Don't tell them so much what to do. So what I've just calculated, the 6 million, you have not done anything else. That's just the milk. You're just selling the daily milk. You're just selling the low product. There in that 1 year, you have manure, you have urea, you have biogas. You can add value to that milk. You can make it into yogurt. You can make it into mara. I'm not repeating what Reverend Daniel took us through 2 weeks ago, but that's what is possible. I want to finish with the last component. I have so many components, but I have to finish. I only have a few minutes. No, I'll try to go very quickly. If you give me 2 or 3 more minutes, I'll go very, very quickly because I don't want to repeat this next week. So the 4th component is daily correction and aggregation. Now, that's what I started with when I was 8 years old. Now, look at me, 8 years. That's 50 years ago. I started aggregating milk. I had no interest of money. I don't know where the crazy idea came from. I used to go on that ridge, buy milk with 5-liter jerrycan. I only used to carry 2, and I would feel as if my hands are going to break. And I would go to the other ridge. I would sell them in a cup. We used to call that cup 15. 15. I don't know what 15 meant. And I used to make like 4 or 5 times the money I have bought the milk for. And incidentally, I never even had any interest with the money. I would come and give all the money to my mom. Then the following day, I would go with just enough money to pay for the milk I took yesterday. The good thing, they were not asking you for money in advance. So this business was one of the most wonderful business. I would go pay for the milk I picked yesterday and pick more milk. So aggregation and correction. So develop farmer cooperative with milk correction centers, cooling tanks, quality testing equipment, and digital payment system. Don't pay people cash, pay them with M-Pesa or any other digital payment system. Example, 500 farmers, we were working with Reverend Daniel, we were going more than that. We were saying if we had 4 clubs, and each club had 160 farmers. So Nakuru 160, Nairobi 160, Laikipia 160, and Malindi 160. So that gives you 640 farmers. My hypothetical case here is with 500. Let me just work with a hypothetical one that I have to go faster. Average 10 liters each day. That is 5,000 liters a day at 45 liter. That is 225,000 daily milk value. Monthly milk value is 6.7 million. Annual milk value is 82 million. That's just a simple mathematics. You're just aggregating and selling at 82 million. Component 5 is value addition. So move the farmers beyond low milk products. So fresh daily, you do pasteurized milk. Nowadays, they're very small pasteurizers. They don't cost a lot of money. You pasteurize the milk, that makes it long life, and you pack it in small packets, and the value goes, as Reverend Daniel was going, from 1 to 4. Flavored milk, from 1, I think, to 8. Yogurt, you wrote those notes. Let me not give you the wrong figures. Reverend Daniel took you through that. You can also now go to premium products like cheese, butter, ghee, and ice cream. You can also go to byproducts like whey products and animal feed from daily waste. So the value addition can increase farmer income significantly. Example, 1 liter of low milk sold low at 45, processed into yogurt, potential is 100 to 150 equivalent. The same liter goes from 45 to 150 maximum. Component number 6, market development. You create structured markets, that is institutional markets like schools, hospitals, hotels, restaurants, and supermarkets. That gives you even a more value because you're not now just selling to every individual. You're going to a hotel like Serena and you're dropping 5,000 liters of yogurt every day. You do that every week. It now starts to speak of a totally different game. But you're not doing this alone because if you try to do it alone, you can still grow. But the risk of growing alone is that you die alone. And that's why big brands have come, created by families and mainly by individuals, and then have collapsed so badly. So badly. So my pleading with you And my request is that don't work alone. The wise men from Kisumu, they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So it's important to have companionship in achieving that. These premises that I've told you, don't aim at breaking new markets. My business for the last now coming to 40 years has been purely done through relationships. I take time to create relationships, and relationships creates money for me. My advice for you and my recommendation is that start with schools of relatives and friends. They introduce you to other relatives. By the time you know it, you have a brand that is in about 10 schools, and it just becomes a natural growth. You can now put that into a proper marketing strategy, and you'll be surprised how fast it grows. And that brings me to little branding, which is my last point. I could have talked, let me just put a few more points. Apologies for taking longer. Develop farmer-owned brands. Example, Kenya Dairy Farmers Cooperative brand, or Proximity Group Cooperative brand, or Deed Institute Cooperative brand. Marketing channels, we have supermarkets, online ordering, retail shops, export opportunities. The other aspect is digital dairy platforms. A World Bank supported digital platform can include a farmer's app, which features animal records, milk production, tracking, veterinary alerts, market prices, training, digital payments, and credit scoring. Proposed project structure, dairy wealth hubs. Establish regional dairy hubs. Example, 10 counties. I've just talked about 4 counties, but here they're telling you, example would be do it in Kiambu, Murang'a, Nyeri, Nakuru, Uasin Gishu, Meru, Bungoma, Kakamega, Kisii, and Embu. These are all areas where the milk does well. Each hub supports 5,000 farmers, so that's 25,000 dairy cows, and milk collection, processing facility, and training center. Expected economic impact, example for 50,000 farmers. Average improvement, additional income, 150,000 per farmer per year, which is a massive economic uplift. Kenya selling 7.5 billion annually, and employment created, veterinary agents, feed producers, transporters, processors, sales agents, and potentially 50 to 100,000 jobs. Potential World Bank alignment. This concept fits programs around agricultural transformation, food systems resilience, climate-stable agriculture, rural enterprise development, youth employment, women economic empowerment, micro, small, and medium enterprise financing. And possible implementation partners in Kenya would be the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Kenya Dairy Board, county governments, cooperatives, research institutions like Carroll, financial institutions, and private dairy processing. So a strong World Bank proposal would position this not just as a dairy project, but a dairy industrial transformation and wealth creation program that builds a complete ecosystem from cow genetics, farmer productivity, processing, brand markets, and wealth creation. I'll be doing this every 4 weeks, where I come up with a product. I take you through the product, and then if people are interested, we form a core group. So for this particular dairy livestock program will be led by Reverend Daniel. I'm going to form a team around him so that those who are interested, we can start thinking through. Remember, you don't have to leave what you're doing. Most of the wealth people have multiple streams of income. Sometimes in a program like this, you just go to your circle, you take a loan of 45,000, put it into the program, and let experts run with that program. The next program which comes for nurseries, you go and take another 20,000, you put in the nurseries program, and you forget. The next program that comes, which is a cassava program, you put some 10,000 in the cassava program and forget. Now, you're not forgetting and taking it out of your mind. You're saying, I'm sowing in the morning, sowing in the noontime, sowing in the evening, because the seeds of a righteous man are never wasted. I know so many things I did 30, 40 years ago. I'm reaping the benefits today. Some people thought, oh, that was waste of money, that was waste of time. But it's better to keep on trying, because if you don't use that money in investment, you're going to use it in consumption. Whatever you use in consumption will never come back to you. Whatever you use in investment has high chances, not just coming back to you, but coming back to you many more times. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for the grace to teach in this wealth creation program. I thank you for your faithfulness. I thank you for your goodness and mercy. I thank you for the opportunity that you have given us to investigate the project of daily farming in the last 4 weeks. I pray as we go now into the investigation of tree nurseries and tree planting, that Father, you give us more insight and liberation, and that as we continue in this program, many people's minds will open, and they may not necessarily do what we tell them, but their minds will be open even to think about better and greater things that we have not discussed. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Amen.
God bless you. Any question? I know we've gone past our normal time. Any quick question or comment?
I can just maybe try to digress a bit with the question we had from Judy. Maybe you can just mention with a few a bit of a snippet. You can tell us about the women program and how to plug in. Maybe a snippet of it.
Okay, I was suggesting, because Madam Judy has left, I was remembering, but then it will be of no purpose for me to answer her when she's not in the meeting. I'll do that on on Thursday, so that she's in the meeting and she can benefit from the answer. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Okay, we have prayed, we've finished, so God bless you. Have a good evening and see you on Thursday. Please encourage more people to join. This is so valuable. Let's get more people. And Jeremiah, you can continue forming the club, so let's get people interested, but also be in clubs. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.